Welcome back to another video, and we've gone through this journey of volume working with these 3D shapes. We started with cylinders, worked our way to cones, and now we're going to spheres. Okay, so your assignment today, I made a little typo, so if you worked ahead, I apologize about that. Instead of page 608, that should have said page 609, numbers 1 through 9. Now, in order to find the volume of a sphere, you've got to know the formula. Like I said before, you should write this formula down. That way you know what each part is, and you know where you're plugging in for. So the volume of a sphere is volume equals 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. And I'm going to do a couple of examples. I'm going to start with example 1. Now, if you already know the radius, remember the radius is the distance from the middle to the edge of your circle, or in this case, it's a sphere. But if it goes all the way across, remember that's your diameter. Okay? So if I'm finding the radius, I need to take the diameter and divide it by 2 if the diameter is given to me. So in number 1, I'm given the diameter, 14.4, and I need to divide that by 2 to get to my radius, which is 7.2. Okay? And now I can use that for R, so I can plug that in for R here. So volume equals 4/3 times pi, and now remember, you can use the pi button on the calculator, or you could use 3.14. If you use the pi button, you get a more exact answer, and it's going to look a little bit different than mine because I'm just going to go ahead and use 3.14. And then times by my radius, 7.2, and then that is cubed. Okay, so now we can start to solve this out. We can plug in and to our calculator. So if I do 7.2 cubed, we get 373.248, and I can multiply that by 3.14 and then by 4/3 at the end. Okay, so if I multiply that by 3.14, and now a little trick here, when you're multiplying by a fraction, you can multiply by the numerator. So if I take this answer and I multiply it by 4 and then divide by that answer by 3, that's the same thing as multiplying by 4/3. If you want to just plug it in as a fraction on your calculator, that would work as well. So if I multiply all of that out, I will get an answer of 1,562. Now it says round to the nearest tenth, so this is going to be 0.7. My unit is inches, and since we're dealing with volume, it is going to be cubed. Okay. Now, if I use the pi button, I would get a little bit different of an answer. It's going to be a little bit bigger. It's actually going to be 1,563.5 inches cubed. Okay, so like I said, I don't care which one you use. If you want to use 3.14, if you want to use the pi button, it doesn't matter. Just know that those answers are going to be different. Okay, so on questions 2 and 3, you are already given the radius. Question 4, you're given the diameter. With questions 5 through 7, you don't have a shape to refer to. However, they give you all the information you need. Now with questions 8 and 9, those are a little bit different. Notice our sphere looks different. It's not a sphere anymore. It's only part of a sphere. And we call this a hemisphere. If you think about the Earth is divided into hemispheres, right? The northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So if it's a hemisphere, we are cutting the object exactly in half. So your formula looks very much the same. So the volume is going to be still that 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. But now we're only carrying about half of the sphere, right? So then what do you have to do at the end? Well, you could either times it by half or just take whatever this answer is and divide it by 2. Okay, so whatever you get when you multiply all of this out, 4/3 pi and the radius cubed, just take that answer and divide it by 2, and that will give you your hemisphere, right? It's the same thing as the volume of the sphere. You just now have to divide by 2, okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. Tomorrow there will be an ALEKS assignment over all of these volume questions, and I will try to take a hard question, maybe go over it with you tomorrow. Remember, if you have any issues with that assignment and you're struggling with it and you've only taken it one time, please email me and I'll help you out the best that I can, because the quiz that is on Friday looks very similar to what you're going to be doing tomorrow on the ALEKS practice, okay? Remember to stay up to date on the ALEKS topics, 10 topics per week. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.